Now we move on. Syria's President Ahmed Al-Sharaa has met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow yesterday, 15th October, marking his first state visit since taking office. Ahmed Al-Sharaa has said that he aims to restore and redefine Syria-Russia relations, emphasizing Syria's independence, territorial unity, and security and stability. Now let's listen into what Ahmed Al-Sharaa, the Syrian leader, has said.
كل ما مضى من اتفاقيات ومن هذا التاريخ العظيم ونحاول أن نعيد ونعرف بشكل جديد طبيعة هذه العلاقات على أن يكون هناك استقلال للحالة السورية السيادة السورية وأيضا سلامة ووحدة أراضيها واستقرارها الأمني المرتبط بالاستقرار الأمني.
The meeting comes amid Syria's efforts to rebuild after a decade-long civil war. Ahmed Al-Sharaa has reportedly planned to discuss the fate of ousted former leader Bashar al-Assad with Moscow, though the topic was not addressed in his public remarks. President Putin has welcomed Ahmed Al-Sharaa, praising recent Syrian parliamentary elections and calling them a success that strengthens ties between political forces. This is what the Russian president has said.
Между нашими странами за многие десятилетия сложились особые отношения. Свыше 80 лет мы поддерживаем дипломатические связи, причем они были установлены в самые трудные для России, для Советского Союза времена в 1944 году. За это время отношения между Сирией и Россией всегда носили исключительно дружеский характер. В России никогда в отношении Сирии не было никаких каких-то отношений, связанных с нашей политической конъюнктурой или с особыми интересами. Мы всегда руководствовались на протяжении всех этих десятилетий одним – интересами сирийского народа.
Maintaining relations with Russia is crucial for Syria's reconstruction, energy and food supplies, as well as international legitimacy. Now, Moscow continues to maintain military bases on the Syrian coast and has sent oil shipments to support Damascus. Now, for this discussion, we're joined by Dr. Anna Matviva. She's a senior visiting research fellow at King's College London, and Russia Institute joins us live from London. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us. Welcome to NewsX World. Now, what do you think, what does President Ahmed Al-Sharaa's visit and his call to redefine Syria-Russia relations signals about the future of Syria and Russia's geopolitical alignment?
I think it's very interesting that both presidents, Putin and Al-Sharaa, they managed to rescue the relationship and trying to rebuild it in very short time. It has been less than a year since the ouster of Bashar al-Assad, and we see already quite major progress in different spheres. For example, now Russia seems to be retaining two military bases, one naval, the other air base in Syria. Russia still has economic interests, economic projects, investment, about 20 billion worth of investment in Syria. Then Russia again became a player in Syria's security. In August, Russian troops returned to patrolling the highway on the border with Turkey, where interests of Syria and Russia coincide is that the Syrian president emphasized territorial integrity. This is the number one question for him, with different external actors vying for pieces of Syrian territory, Israel, Turkey, United States. Russia is not in that game. They are not trying to grab a piece of Syrian territory. So in that sense, it is an ally, because generally they want a restoration of Syrian territorial integrity, and they're prepared to help the new power holders, the new government, on that road.
And Dr. Anna, what do you think, what was like a common ground for them? As you've also mentioned that, it only took them a year to kind of come to where they are now, regardless of the
Well,
past. Yeah.
yeah, on the Russian side, I have to give kudos to the Russian diplomacy. It geared into action very fast. Russia has quite good resource pool of Syrian kind of Middle East experts. So they have been generated into action very fast. Everybody, within Syrian diaspora, everybody who already had some ties with the opposition, not with Al-Sharaa, but with more moderate forces, they all have been mobilized within days after the power change. So in that sense, we have to say that Russian diplomacy showed itself really at its best and being very flexible, being quite pragmatic. On the Syrian side, again, Al-Sharaa proved himself to be a pragmatist rather than ideological, fanatical, religious warrior. He really proving himself to be more of a statesman who holds the interest of Syria first and foremost. And Syria does not want to be dragged into an international geopolitical competition. They do not have a dog in that fight. So in that sense, he, from the beginning, maintained quite a distance from great power politics, which really have nothing to do with Syrian problems, and was saying that it is, from quite early on, that it is very easy to break relationships. It's not very easy to win new friends. So before we break with anybody, break any relationship, we have to think, is it good for us or maybe not? And that is where they both, Syria and Russia, Putin and Al-Sharaa, have a meeting of minds. They are both guided by what they think are in their national interests. For Moscow, it's also, of course, a question of prestige. It's not just economic or security interests in Syria. It's also saying that we do have enduring presence in the Middle East. And our relationship with Syria is so deep that it can survive that kind of dramatic change.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Anna Matvina, for sharing that insight. All the way from London, please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we move on. Britain has targeted Russia's two largest oil companies, Lukoil and Rosneft, and 44 Shadow Fleet tankers in what it described as a new bid to tighten energy sanctions in choke of Kremlin venues. Now, Lukoil and Rosneft were designated under Britain's Russia sanction laws for what London has described as their role in supporting the Russian government. The sanctions state that they are subject to an asset freeze, director disqualification, transport restriction, and a ban on British trust services. The British government says the two companies were considered strategically significant to the Kremlin and their activities were of economic importance to Russia, contributing to state revenues that help to sustain its war with Ukraine. Britain has targeted Russia's two largest oil companies, Lukoil and Rosneft, and 44 Shadow Fleet tankers in what it has described as a new bid to tighten energy sanctions and, in their words, choke off Kremlin revenues. Now, Lukoil and Rosneft were designated under Britain's Russia sanction laws for what London has described as their role in supporting the Russian government. The sanctions state that they are subject to an asset freeze, director disqualification, transport restriction, as well as a ban on British trust services. The British government has said that two companies were considered strategically significant to the Kremlin Now we move on to our next news. Chinese Foreign Ministry has reacted to the spy case being highlighted in the United Kingdom. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian has stated that the espionage case is being used as an excuse to slander or smear China. This development comes as the British government and the Crown Prosecution Service faces questions over dropping the spy case after a key witness has said in a statement that China was carrying out large-scale espionage against the British. However, China has rejected such claims. Let's listen into what Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson has said.
我们注意到有关情况，中方的立场很明确，我们坚决反对以所谓间谍活动为由，炒作、说事、污蔑、抹黑。
That's all we have time